Deep Synchronicity and Divine Grace, a 5-MeO DMT trip report by Sci-Fi, uploaded to Interlude August 9th, 2004. This was my first 5-MeO experience, and I certainly had some trepidation before doing it. I was blessed to have an experienced, sensitive, and very wise guide to watch over me. I learnt many things from her, both about this amazing substance and about the world in general, so I'd like to pass that information on to you now. There is a lot of discussion about dosage, since this substance is both dose sensitive and smokable quantities are so small, 5 to 10 milligrams. She told me that it is difficult to end up smoking too much if you smoke it the right way, so you don't have to be so exact in your measurements. This substance absolutely requires you to have a babysitter, especially since it acts so quickly, and you could easily drop the pipe and burn yourself and not even know it. So always do this with an assistant, one who can preferably help you with the last hit or two. The first thing is to put in the material above the size of a matchstick head. This works out to around 5 to 10 milligrams, which is more than enough for most people to go all the way. The next thing is to light it for a few seconds to fill your pipe with smoke, and then begin to pull the smoke in very slowly, like a slow count to 7, all the while having your partner continue vaporizing the material. Hold the smoke for at least 10 seconds if you can, then take another slow hit and repeat the above. By this point you'll probably feel the effects coming on very quickly, but if you stop here you'll probably achieve a sub-threshold experience. So if you can, continue to use all of your willpower and remain present to take another hit as above. The material will take over very soon no matter what you do anyway, and you won't be able to take any more. By doing it slowly with this counting procedure, it prevents you from taking in too much, so this is about both pace and technique. The next is setting. We did this outdoors on a mild summer's day in a remote, green, beautiful, tranquil area. I've always preferred the outdoors while tripping, and I heard that this is the best place to do 5-MeO, as long as your body is in a safe resting place and there's someone to watch over you. Most people I know like to trip at night. I like to trip in the daytime though. For me it's more inviting, warm and reassuring. With a full-blown 5-MeO trip, you completely leave this universe of time, space, matter, and any memory of having been you. And when you come back, it can be quite a shock to rediscover your three-dimensionality and humanness, so ask yourself where you want to come back to. Okay, on to my experience now. I never got past the second inhale, and I was already off. I knew this experience is about letting go, and I did just that, only a little too soon. So I never took that third toke to go all the way. Nevertheless, I had the most powerfully sublime experience of my life. I was amazed at how quickly, yet smoothly I left this space and went into an entirely different one. I've read many trip reports saying it is almost impossible to describe, but I will do my best, and perhaps because I didn't go all the way, I might be able to do just that. With a few seconds after my second dose, I went entirely into this new place. It was deeply significant, exponentially synchronistic, ancient, present, the future, it was all there, it was all one. There was no time, rather a multiplicating web of cross-connected meaning. There were no visuals exactly, it was more than any visual could ever describe. There was light though. This place was filled with white light, a kind of multi-dimensional shifting light that corresponded with all the interpenetrating synchronicities. I could see my whole life up to that point having come to an end, and I crossed this threshold into something else. I never thought I died, so much as I would never, ever be the same again. I definitely had the feeling this time I really did it. I've gone too far. I've now ended some deep, complex shamanistic initiation that has revealed to me the true meaning of all that is, that everything that I thought I knew was wrong, that this very alien, yet deeply synchronistic, threatening but beautiful space is what I needed to surrender to. As I surrendered, I felt this deep reception of divine grace, a gift of total unconditional love washing all over me. As this happened, it occurred to me that everything I was, everything I've done, everything that's previously meaningful, everything that I've ever known, will never come back. I was faced with this utter annihilation. I started to deeply cry, feeling this heart aching, reaching back to hold on to the life I had with my wife, and feeling I would never see her again. And then, I remembered that I needed to let go, to die. And so I breathed deeply, trying to surrender. And then I reached out to my wonderful guide to see if she could help me let go. And then I realised I was coming back. I remembered who I was, that I was here, and I wouldn't lose my wife, that my life was coming back. And then right there, That moment, I wept deeper than I have in my whole life. I felt the deepest sense of gratitude and love for my existence, for my blessed and wonderful guide. She extended deep compassion towards me. She held me in her arms, and I continued to weep as she provided the most nourishing support a guide could ever give, deep spiritual connectedness and union. I continued to cry and express the deepest gratitude I had in my whole life, love for both my guide and my wife. I also realised how much pain and paranoia I've been hanging on to for so long. This is what my guide calls cycles. I went through this deep cleansing of these fears, paranoias and aches, and felt more and more cleansed each moment. It was deeply beautiful, religious. I felt reborn, or as my guide likes to say, reset. This is an amazing experience. I would say I got about as far as you can go without going all the way. It was as if I was striding the fence between this world and the other. For a few timeless seconds, I was in this way out indescribable space. It was as if I slid into this other, completely separate dimension and then slid back soon afterwards. Had I taken the third hit fully, I have no doubt I would have gone all the way and had something to ache into what other people have described of this substance. I now have a very deep respect for 5-MeO, and I do plan on trying it again before too long. One thing that struck me was that this experience came on so quickly, yet so smoothly, as if we were designed for it, and that right now is the time for those who are ready to move into these other spaces, and to become humble servants to wherever it's taking us through this current transitional period, through the bottleneck of the coming singularity. I now have faith that we are going to make it. Although there may well be lots of deaths, maybe even a world plague or some other awful catastrophe, we humans, our consciousness, our legacy, will continue. Our descendants will look back on us with deep gratitude for having been around right now, ushering humanity, transhumanity, through this threshold into something glorious. I'm no longer afraid of that. I now feel my life is meaningful. I feel deeply grateful to be alive.